Let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're unpacking a really profound, highly concentrated thesis on achieving ultimate financial independence. And honestly, here's the crazy part. Our source material today is literally just 2 sentences long. Just 2. But hey, don't let the length fool you, because the specific choice of words in those 2 short sentences holds the absolute key to a massive paradigm shift in how we view money. We're going to forensically deconstruct this text together, basically acting like financial detectives to figure out how true wealth is actually generated and sustained over a lifetime.
But before we put the text on the screen, I want you to reconsider your own assumptions about how money works. Ask yourself honestly, when you think about financial freedom, do you view it as hitting the jackpot, a lucky break? Or do you see it as a mathematical certainty? Because let's be real, so many of us go through life treating our bank accounts like a slot machine. We're just hoping for a windfall instead of actually engineering an outcome. So keep that deep tension between luck and predictability in the back of your mind as we bring up our source text.
Okay, here's the text in its entirety. The science of becoming financially free. Understand the proven principles behind building lasting wealth. What is truly fascinating to me here is the incredibly precise, deliberate language the author uses. I mean, there are absolutely 0 wasted words. Every single term, science, becoming, proven, building, lasting, carries an immense amount of weight. So we're going to break this down piece by piece to truly absorb the methodology it's prescribing to us.
Part 1. Wealth as a Science.
Looking at the first half of our text, notice the author doesn't call it the luck or the chance or even the art of becoming free. No, they call it a science. And that brilliantly illustrates that achieving wealth requires a systematic, testable approach. Think about what a science actually is, right? It relies on variables, constants, and formulas. If you mix specific chemical elements together under the exact right conditions in a lab, you're going to get a predictable reaction every single time. And the text is boldly claiming that financial freedom operates under that exact same premise. It's an organized body of knowledge that, when applied correctly, yields a specific, predictable result. Bottom line, it's not a mystery, it's a method. When we contrast this scientific approach against the chaotic reality of, just hoping for a windfall, the power of this mindset shift becomes incredibly clear. Financial science is methodical. It requires a system. It relies on proven inputs to get proven outputs. Financial luck, on the other hand, totally chaotic. It's entirely out of your control, and it's almost always fleeting. By labeling wealth generation as a science, the source material immediately strips away all that emotional anxiety we usually carry around money. It pulls the whole concept of wealth out of the realm of the mysterious and drops it right into the realm of the highly practical.
Part 2. Defining financial freedom.
Let's move to the next crucial concept here, the active process of becoming financially free. Notice the text doesn't say being financially free. It uses a very specific action word. The word becoming implies an ongoing process of transformation. It's a journey. You're actively moving from one state to another. And let's really think about the emotional weight of that starting point for a second, that state of financial constraint. For a lot of people, that means the crushing anxiety of debt, that endless cycle of paycheck-to-paycheck living, just that heavy feeling of being trapped. Becoming means you are actively transitioning out of that constraint and moving steadily toward a state of absolute breathing room independence. And that requires time, observation, and the continuous application of the science we just talked about.
Now, look at how this maps out the ultimate paradigm shift, moving from a state of guesswork to a state of absolute freedom. Think of it as a choice you have to make about your own personal operating system. If your method is guesswork, like hoping the market goes up, wishing for a sudden raise, or totally winging your monthly budget, the guaranteed result is stress. It keeps you locked tight in a state of constraint. But if you switch your method to science, just like the text instructs, the result becomes lasting wealth. That is what ultimately elevates you into a state of absolute freedom. It's a direct cause and effect relationship, completely devoid of guesswork.
Part 3. The proven principles. So now we reach the operational core of our source material, the actual mechanism you need to execute this science and achieve this freedom. The text explicitly tells us what to focus our attention on. It says to understand the proven principles. Let's just hover on the word proven for a second. This means we have to rely on rules that have been rigorously tested and validated through history. This completely eliminates passing trends, internet fads, or any of those get-rich-quick schemes. It just cuts right through the noise. Principles are the foundational, unshakable laws of finance. We're talking things like compound interest, cash flow management, value investing. The text is telling us that the science of wealth isn't about inventing some flashy new formula. It's about strictly adhering to the rules that have always worked.
let's break down how this forms a super clear, actionable roadmap directly embedded in the logic of those two sentences. Step 1, you have to change your baseline mindset and acknowledge the science. Step 2, you must do the heavy lifting to understand the principles. And listen, step 2 is the bottleneck. This is where most people fail, right? They want the result without putting in the time to actually understand the mechanics. You literally cannot skip step 2. And finally, step 3, which brings us to the second half of the source text, applying those deeply understood principles to actually build something tangible for yourself.
Finally, part 4, building lasting wealth. Let's examine the ultimate destination described in the final words of our text. This is the ultimate output of that scientific formula. The text says the goal is building lasting wealth. Think about the architectural metaphor at play here. You don't just get wealth. You don't stumble upon it by accident. You build it. Building implies laying down a solid foundation, brick by painstaking brick. And what exactly are you building? Lasting wealth. This is completely distinct from temporary riches. Temporary riches, you can win those in a lottery and lose them entirely within a year. Lasting wealth is structurally sound. It's explicitly designed to endure through decades, surviving massive economic shifts, unexpected recessions, and grinding inflation. So you can see how the 3 core elements of our short text form a complete, enduring structure for financial independence. The science provides that objective, emotionless mindset. The proven principles provide the reliable, heavy-duty tools and materials. And lasting wealth is the architectural masterpiece you ultimately construct. Now, just ask yourself, what happens if you remove even one of these pillars from the equation? The whole structure collapses. You cannot have lasting wealth without the proven principles, and you're never going to fully trust those principles if you don't first view them as a hard, reliable science.
Bringing it all together, we return to the explicit directive of the source material. The first word of the second sentence is an imperative, non-negotiable command: understand. The text doesn't tell you to blindly follow some guru on the internet. It doesn't tell you to hand your money over to someone else and just hope for the best. It commands you, the individual, to do the work to understand these foundational scientific principles for yourself. The responsibility for your financial education rests entirely on your shoulders. Ignorance of the science is literally the only real thing standing in the way of your freedom.
I'll leave you with this to reflect on as we wrap up this explainer. If wealth is a proven science and not just some game of chance, what is actually stopping you from learning the formula today? The frustrating mysteries of money totally fade away when you realize it's just applied science. The next logical step is entirely up to you. Go out, understand the principles, and start building.